Hello, my name is Aisha, which rhymes with iPhone, and I recently saw the video that Cinzia made about self-care. Now, for those of you who don't know, Cinzia is actually a YouTuber who, and her channel name is Personal Philosophy Project, and she makes books. She makes videos about uh, minimalism, consumerism, philosophy, books, and other stuff. They're really insightful and thought-provoking, and I really recommend you check her out. Anyway, so Cinzia made a video about self-love and how it has become more of a money-making initiative, and I couldn't agree more. Her idea of self-love is more so where you take care of yourself to improve your mental and physical health. So more specifically, Cinzia said that to her, self-love is more about doing things now so that your future self will thank you for it. I thought this was a really good idea, and I thought that I might make a video about some different things that we can do to help us love ourselves in that way. Oh, sorry, self-care. To help us care for ourselves in that way. Now, this is great because A, it really helps you manage your money over time, which is a really nice skill to have. B, it's something that you need to work over time, and so, this is something which will benefit you long term rather than having sort of instant gratification. It'll give you a really good sense of security because in the event of you losing your job or needing a lot of money at once, you have this nice stash saved up which you can use, and this helps reduce so much stress in the long run. Alright, so there are many ways of going about setting up an emergency fund. What I did for me was I looked at the amount of money that I was spending each month, and I basically averaged that, and I decided to save up 3 months worth of that amount as my emergency fund. So that is what worked for my situation. You could try saving up an emergency fund for 1 to 6 months, depending on what your situation is. Even if it's 1 month, I think it's a really great initiative to take on. And once you have that money set aside somewhere safe, then you will feel so secure. You will feel so comfortable. Okay, I have this money on the side. I don't need to worry about any emergency that might come up. It's a really, really good thing to do for yourself. Now, we all know how much our sleep impacts the way we behave, the way we act, our thoughts, as well as how our skin looks. I think this is a really, really great one to work on because it has a really nice feedback loop. So each time you go to sleep at night, when you wake up the next morning, you can sort of make a list of all the things that went well in terms of your sleep and all the things that didn't go well, and whatever didn't go well, you can try to improve that the following day, which is in that case, you can sort of improve by 1% every day. 1% is basically this sort of productivity hack where rather than feeling burdened by the amount of ways that you want to improve, you just focus on improving 1% each day. I think Thomas Frank talks about this in one of his videos, which I'll put in the description box, and then James Clear talks about it as well, who was this guy who wrote Atomic Habits. One thing that I try to achieve with improving my sleep is to have a consistent average sleep. Is to have an average amount of hours that I slept for 1 month. So for example, sleeping an average of 8 hours per night for a month. This was really useful because even if, for example, I slept 7 hours on one day and 10 hours on another day, it sort of balanced out. So having an average of a month is much better than having each day be exactly the same. I think that's a bit of an unrealistic expectation to set for yourself. But yeah, so if you try to implement the 1% rule, from that perspective, you might sort of tell yourself, okay, tonight at 11 p.m. I will decide to get into bed. So I should be in bed by the time it's 11. The next day, you would tell yourself, okay, my lights should be closed by the time I get into bed, which would be at 11 p.m. And then the third day would be that I should be asleep by 11. And so over time, you're sort of improving the way you go about improving your sleep schedule. And, this will benefit your future self so much in the long run. Now, this is a massive one, and your future self will help you, will thank you so much for getting into this one. I honestly would recommend, for example, if you're planning on doing these things, I honestly would recommend going about improving your sleep first and then getting into exercise. Personally, that's what I found worked for me. Once I was good with my sleep, then I was able to focus on working out, because I found that if I hadn't gotten enough sleep and I tried to work out, I would be so tired, and I wouldn't be able to have a good workout. That's what I think works better. You may feel differently. So, you should do what works for you. But yeah, so working out, it's not easy. It's not the most desirable thing to do. It's a bit gross, you sweat a lot. That's the intention, to sweat. And it's something that you really need to work over time. But it's such a great feeling when over time you realize that, this exertion that you're putting on yourself, you don't need to be putting as much effort because you're doing it more and more. And you can feel your muscles getting stronger, your heart getting fitter. And honestly, it's just an amazing feeling when you sort of start feeling more like a Greek god and less like a sloth. It's an unparalleled feeling. So the next one is a relatively easygoing one, and maybe really enjoyable for some of you. So this one is about creating a playlist. And sometimes when I get into the car to drive, I want a very specific playlist to fit the mood that I am in. For example, driving late at night, there's a very nice specific mood to it based on how you're feeling. I think it'd be really cool if you had playlists to suit different moods, which you created over time beforehand, so that when your future self experiences these moods, they can just whip out these playlists and listen to them. So, this is a bit of a silly one. It doesn't require that much effort, but if you do this, it might sort of give you the idea of what it actually means to do something for your future self. If you do have trouble creating playlists like I do, I would recommend checking out my cousin's playlists. She is, I don't know how she does it, but her playlists are amazing. I would also recommend my sister's playlists. They're very matter of fact. If you're feeling a certain way, her playlists really hit the nail. So yeah, these will be in the description box as well. Alright, so many times, especially if you are a creative person, you will get ideas that sound excellent and really worth getting into later on, but oftentimes we don't actually make notes on these, and we sort of trust ourselves to remember them when the time comes. However, that seldom happens. I think we would all be so much more grateful to ourselves if we took the time and effort to just note down the ideas we have, so that later on, when we wanted to work on them, they would be somewhere safe. We wouldn't have to sort of try and actively recall what these ideas were. So that's really something that I feel you and I could really get into. We do have our phones, we have note-taking apps. It's not that much of a hassle to just take out your phone and jot down a note. Similarly, if you don't feel bothered to write it down, then you have your voice recorder as well on your phone, and so you can just record your voice, make notes through that. So that's also a really cool idea. And this is sort of another way where your future self will thank you for doing this now. So whilst there are many other initiatives to take up, these are the ones that I thought I'd make a video up and get into. I might make some more videos later on which dive into these a little bit more, into some of them, to give some more actionable tips. Some stuff that has worked for me might work for you as well. If you would be interested in something like that, please let me know in the comment section. Apart from that, if you also get any ideas about how to care for yourself in a way where your future self thanks you for it, then please let me know. Also, thank you so much to Cinzia for making the video that she made about self-care. It was really insightful and it gave me a lot of ideas. I'd really recommend you check the video out that she made. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourself, and bye bye.